lekkerste ervaring wat ons nog gehad het.
But also to contribute to
Lamb Champs is om die draai en daar is nog plek oop vir registrasies by die Pretoria-ronde. Ek gesels vanoggend met JP Nel, die wenner van die 2025 Lamb Champs Pretoria-ronde. JP, goeiemôre en baie dankie dat jy by ons aangesluit het.
Hallo, ja, baie dankie vir die geleentheid. Ek is bly ek kon bietjie op julle channel wees.
Sê vir my, waar boer jy, met wat boer jy en hoekom boer jy?
Ons boer hier tussen Vryburg en Stella. Ons boer met, my kant van die boerdery is maar meeste dorper skape. So ja, dit kom al 'n rukkie, ek het al van kleins af 'n liefde vir skape gehad en toe ons nou plaas toe trek, het ons die dorperkant of die skaapkant oorgevat en ja, toe begin my liefde vir dorpers maar net al hoe meer en ja, dis hoekom ons maar by dorpers bly is oor hulle gehardheid en die liefde wat ons vir hulle het. Baie goeie moederlike eienskappe. En dit is net, as dit jou passie is, dan voel dit nooit soos werk nie. So dit is maar hoekom ons kies om met dit te boer en dit is lekker.
En hoekom het jy laas jaar vir Lamb Champs ingeskryf?
Ja, dit is eintlik 'n interessante storie. Ons het, ek weet, een van my vriende wat, was by 'n golfdag gewees in Pretoria, toe hy skryf al gereeld in vir Lamb Champs. Toe sê hy, nee, ek moet inskryf, dat ons, sommer net vir die lekker, dat ons bietjie saam kuier en goed, en ja, ek het toe maar net die dag ingeskryf, en ja, toe was ons soontoe, maar ja, vandat ons daar is, toe sien ek eintlik die groot impak wat Lamb Champs op die boeregemeenskap het, in so kort tydjie, so ek is so bly ek het ingeskryf, en dit was die lekkerste ervaring wat ons nog gehad het.
Wat volgens jou is die impak wat Lamb Champs op die boerderygemeenskap het?
Nee, ek dink dat Lamb Champs is 'n plek waar buiten 'n agri-vergadering of 'n boerevereniging vergadering is. Lamb Champs 'n plek wat jy in 'n sosiale omgewing met ander boere kan bymekaar kom en net sit en gesels oor alledaagse probleme wat jy ervaar en wat hulle ervaar en nuwe vriende maak. Lamb Champs in ons lewe het 'n baie groot impak gehad. Ons hardloop ook ons eie produkte wat ons van die plaas af verkoop. Ons het op bemarking gewys, het dit ons baie gehelp. En dit het soveel deure vir ons oopgemaak in ander aspekte van die boerderygemeenskap dat ons kan net dankbaar wees vir wat Lamb Champs ons gedoen het. So ek dink in kort is Lamb Champs regtig 'n plek vir boere om net by mekaar te kom, 'n bietjie te gesels in 'n sosiale omgewing en mekaar te geniet. En ook aan die ernstiger kant daarvan kan dit soveel deure vir jou oopmaak as jy net die kans wil vat en inskryf.
Is dit hoekom jy ander boere sal aanmoedig om in te skryf vir die moontlike deure wat dit vir hulle kan oopmaak?
Ja, definitief. So ons is nie 'n baie groot boerdery nie. So ek het al met Lamb Champs verlede jaar gesê, dit gaan nie oor hoe groot boer jy is nie. Op die einde van die dag speel jy nog steeds 'n rol in die voedselketting. Skryf in, al het jy net 'n paar skape, skryf in, kom neem deel. Jy leer so baie by ander ouens wat al jare in die bedryf is. Jy maak nuwe vriende, dit maak vir jou regtig deure oop. En die gemeenskap wat Lamb Champs skep, hulle eie Lamb Champs gemeenskapie, is so wonderlik. Hulle ondersteun jou nou nog as ek enige probleme het of goed, kan ek net vir saai kontak en hulle sal my bystaan en help. So dit skep net 'n platform vir jou wat ja, dit maak net vir jou so makliker as boer al buite as jy sulke mense het wat jou kan ondersteun.
Ja. En net as 'n laaste vraag, enige raad vir boere wat inskryf, wat sou jy sê was jou resepie wat gemaak het dat jy wen, en hoe sal jy dit dan nou, wat sal jy vir ander boere sê, hoe moet hulle voorberei vir Lamb Champs?
Ja, nee, ons is verskil bietjie van, dink ek, normale skaapboerde in 'n voerkraal opset. Ons druk nie lammers in 'n voerkraal om binne 'n sekere tyd geslag te word nie. So ons lammers word natuurlik op die weiding groot en ons rond hulle net af in die kraal om net daai bietjie om hulle karkasgewig maar net reg te kry. So nee, ek dink doen net wat jy doen. Ek het geskryf en ek het dit gedoen soos ek gedoen het en ek het nie die vaagste benul gehad laat ons ooit in die top 10 eers sal wees nie, maar om te wen was so vir ons so groot oomblik. So ek het net gedoen wat ek doen, wat ek in glo, en raad wat ek al gekry het by mense. So ek dink my advies sal wees, moenie jouself onderskat nie. Al is jy hoe groot boer of hoe klein boer, dit maak nie saak nie. Glo in wat jy doen, glo in jou resep en dit sal werk.
Great, baie dankie.
We now speak to Dr. Collin Ohlhoff, manager of the sub-project on environmental sustainability of the Dairy Research and Development Program of Milk SA. Doctor, that is a mouthful. Good day. It's good to speak to you again.
Lovely to speak to you, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Doctor, let's get into it immediately. What role does the International Dairy Federation play in advancing a sustainable dairy sector?
Yeah, I think the International Dairy Federation itself really represents the global voice of the dairy sector. And it has been recognized as a leading source of expertise and scientific knowledge since just after 1903, I think it was. And as a science-based international organization, the IDF can lead, or has the ability to lead global, neutral, pre-competitive actions on sustainable dairying, while also encouraging collaboration through locally implemented private and public partnerships. And then through its members and science-based work, the IDF can aid in identifying best practices that are adaptable to varied local situations, and then also importantly disseminate that information across its member networks.
Doctor, how does that translate into broader sustainability efforts across the world?
So I think over many years now, the organization itself has been instrumental in the development of decision support systems, as well as environmental benchmarking, training programs, workshops, these days webinars, that help farmers and processors to improve their efficiencies. There's a lot of focus on waste reduction, and then obviously also on enhancing resilience without compromising on productivity. And then I think, also just important in that breath to mention that the IDF aligns its sustainability efforts with global frameworks, such as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And it's imperative that these initiatives are designed not only to address climate and resource use, but also to contribute to broader objectives. We speak of things like poverty reduction, food security, and also responsible consumption.
Doctor, are there specific sustainability focus areas for dairy globally, and how does involving science drive change in this sector?
Yeah, I think as a starting point, we should recognize that the major contribution that dairy makes to countries' economies, and then also the essential role of dairy in balanced diets. And on top of that, the key role that the dairy sector globally plays in addressing issues around environmental degradation and climate change. And we know dairy production is intricately linked to natural resources. So we think of land, climate, and water. And then our ability to produce nutritious food for a growing global population that depends on managing these resources responsibly. And then I think that being said, the IDF itself takes an integrated approach to promoting sustainability, or to promote the sustainability of dairy systems, jointly taking into consideration social, economic, health, and then the environmental dimensions. So yeah, and then just to the second part of the question around science. So obviously, evolving science is fundamental to our sector. I mean, all environmental policies and recommendations developed by the organization are grounded in peer-reviewed research and internationally recognized methodologies. And this ensures credibility and consistency, particularly when engaging with policymakers and global institutions. So that science-based approach, really helps to be able to counter misinformation and support balanced discussions around the role of livestock in sustainable food systems.
Doctor, your focus is more on the environmental side. Which areas of interest are receiving attention at this stage in the international dairy landscape?
So I think I alluded to a couple of the broad focus areas. Could certainly name, water, biodiversity as and ecosystem services are topics that are really coming to the fore. We're seeing that really getting a lot of attention, particularly in European countries at the moment. And then also land management and soil management, really important factors. And I think if I think specifically a current area of interest is really focused on climate reporting and what we refer to as life cycle assessments. So these are methods or methodologies that are used to determine what the total environmental impact of a product or system is from the beginning to the end. And we see sometimes that there can be ambiguity in reporting, which rises from the complexity of climate systems, as well as the differences in methods which are being applied, and then the way in which information is being collected, interpreted, and communicated. So from the IDF side, just interestingly of late, there's, in terms of trying to enhance consistency and transparency in climate reporting, the IDF has developed and published a life cycle assessment verification framework or tool, which enables the verification of existing methodologies against the IDF's global carbon footprint standard for the dairy sector. And we're really seeing this contribute immensely to greater comparability, credibility, as well as evidence-based climate actions across dairy systems.
Doctor, is there anything else you would like to add in this regard?
No, I think that's, from my side, that's about it, yeah.
Nice bakkie. It's not a bakkie. It's a Hilux.
It's not a bakkie. It's the new Hilux Legend 55.